Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe here with a look at 60 FPS gaming on YouTube. Finally, the time has come. I've waited so long for this moment. High frame rate, or HFR for short, is here, and now we can enjoy 48 frames or 60 frames on YouTube as long as you select an HD resolution. So today you're going to be looking at a few samples here, and I will be discussing HFR and how it works and how you can get it to work on your system. But let's get started with compatibility. Currently, HFR is compatible with the following web browsers: Internet Explorer 11, Google Chrome, and Apple's Safari. If you're not using those browsers as of the rollout date, which seems to be October 29th, then you might not be able to view HFR content. So you'll want to use those until other browsers such as Firefox are supported. Beyond that, again, as of the rollout date, I don't believe mobile devices are supported, so you'll need to wait until YouTube updates their apps on iOS and Android if you want to watch high frame rate content on a phone or tablet device. You'll also need to select an HD resolution in order to watch HFR content, so for example 720p or higher. And when you go to choose your resolution, you will see the number 60 following the res numbers. So for example, 720p 60, 1080p 60, and so on and so forth. If you don't see that number 60 following the resolution number, there's either something wrong with your browser, or perhaps Flash or HTML5 plugins, or the content that you're viewing is simply not HFR compatible, meaning that the content creator has to upload source material at a high frame rate, 48 or 60 frames. 30 FPS content cannot magically turn into HFR content. It doesn't work like that. So the source has to be captured at native 48 or 60 frames per second. Now, as far as we know, this rollout isn't retroactive, meaning that if you uploaded a 60 FPS video a week ago, it's not going to be 60 today. It's one of those things where YouTube had to originally process your content on the day of the rollout in order for it to be HFR compatible. Now, while this HFR rollout is fantastic, it might still be a little glitchy for some people. I really don't know what kind of performance hit it takes on your machine. I don't know if there's a difference between Mac and PC or web browser performance. You might want to try different things there. YouTube might have to just improve things on their end. We all know that YouTube encoding isn't the best. In fact, they haven't taken the time to upgrade their bit rates, so when they get a hold of my beautiful videos, they tend to process it in a way that it just turns into muddy water. This can, of course, be dependent on the game and range of colors and motion. For example, if you're playing Hearthstone, where there isn't much motion, it's probably going to look fairly crisp. However, if you're playing an FPS, like Battlefield or COD or MechWarrior that we have in front of us here, then it's going to be a bit more pixelated because there's a lot going on, motion, things blowing up, and so on and so forth. On top of that, this game is a bit more gritty, so if you were playing something like WoW or WildStar where it's more colorful and vibrant, then it will probably look a little bit better. That's just how compression deals with certain color palettes and ranges of motion. Now, beyond all that, I just have to say I'm excited to finally be able to share with you the way I've been playing my games for years. As a PC gamer, we've been playing above 60 since well before YouTube even existed, and console games have jumped on that bandwagon for some time now too. Nintendo Wii U, pretty much everything Nintendo makes is 60 frames per second. That's the way they've decided to create their content. PlayStation 4 releasing quite a few 60 FPS titles, Xbox One, no comment. But beyond all that, maybe we'll finally be able to put to rest the whole 30 versus 60 debate, since you can now clearly see the difference on a platform that is widely accessed by the majority of the planet Earth. Most people don't actually understand that 24 and 30p came about based on the cost of film stock in the early days of movie making. It was just expensive, and probably still is, to have to buy a lot of film, physical film, in order to create a project. Now, of course, people are just used to it. It's an industry standard. It will be for a very long time. However, it is nice to have the option, as we do within the Hobbit films. Blu-ray is also going to support 48 frames in the future, and I'm looking forward to that. Because once you see 48, it's really hard to go back to something else. In regards to video games, of course it makes sense to have HFR because you're actually in control of the character. You don't walk outside and view things in 24p, you're living your life at higher frame rates. So it makes sense to be in control of that in a title. So if you ever get a developer that's citing some sort of filmic look excuse, it's just that, an excuse because they couldn't get better performance out of their title. They're lying to you or they're uneducated. I don't know what's worse. And with that, stay tuned for a whole lot more 60 FPS content. I will definitely see you on the next one.